thank you for your kind invitation to present today. I'm delighted to be part of this discussion, not least because I'm a person living with epilepsy myself. I'm a university lecturer in the UK, and as a researcher, I'm working on a project at the moment called the Disability Inclusion Africa Project. The project involves numerous academic partners in Nigeria, in Tanzania, Cameroon and South Africa, and also numerous non-academic partners, local, national and international disability organisations and NGOs. And the project is funded by a Global Challenges Research Fund from the Arts and Humanities Research Council. So our project aims to bring about a step change in the way in which disabilities are understood, and at the level of communities, but also at the level of civil society, international development, and in the academy, in universities. And to do this, we're going to hold a series of online events, workshops in Nigeria, Cameroon, Tanzania, South Africa, and the UK. And the project involves collaborative research, fieldwork, and community engagement. The focus of this particular project is what we've termed alternative explanations. With this project, we're trying to improve understandings of the impact of various explanations for disability on disabled people, their communities, and also those who work with them. And these alternative explanations can stem from assumptions and misconceptions, and these are often rooted in a misunderstanding of disability. They may result in the mistaken assumption, for example, that someone who uses a wheelchair also has a mental impairment. They may be rooted in traditional beliefs, which result in a particular set of attitudes towards people with disabilities. For example, a refusal to share food or transport with a person with albinism. They can be grounded in religious beliefs, which view disability as a sign of disapproval on the part of God, or a punishment for a wrongdoing that a person is assumed to have committed. And equally, from the medical profession, there's a whole discourse around disability as an impairment, as something to be improved or remedied or treated, overlooking other aspects of the experience of being disabled. And then, of course, supernatural and witchcraft-related beliefs, which attach particular explanations to disability that can then sometimes lead to harm. For example, a person with epilepsy may be convinced by the family or community to seek treatment from a traditional healer, but sometimes from a witch doctor, rather than visiting a clinic. And of course, I know there are lots of various reasons for that, which we can discuss later. So I just want to share two stories to illustrate what I'm saying here. And we're working closely in this project with disability organisations to understand the impacts of these kind of explanations for the lives of disabled people. One of these organisations shared the story of Asharaf, who's a 13-year-old boy who lives in Uganda. And he was found caged at the back of the family home by this organisation, the Champion Route, which is working with disabled children in Kampala. And the family believed that Asharaf was a source of misfortune, and that if he was the first one anyone saw on a certain day, the day would go badly for them and their business would fail. And he was caged away to avoid the misfortunes that were always befalling the family. But when the organisation spoke with the family, they learned that this young boy had fallen sick at a very young age, most likely with untreated malaria, and as a result he has physical and learning disabilities. And the second story came from one of our partner organisations, Safe Child Africa, which works with street children in Nigeria. And they told us the story of a young boy, Inyang, who had a learning disability. And he was taken to a pastor by his father to seek spiritual understanding of his disability. And the pastor accused him of being a witch. And fearing the impact of this perceived witchcraft, the father and other community members poured battery acid on the boy in an attempt to kill him. He was taken into care, but despite the best efforts of everyone, he died in hospital 2 weeks later. So rarely are these explanations and their consequences taken into consideration. Instead, we find that discourses of disability are often created by medical professionals, by social scientists, by development agencies, often in the global north, with little awareness of the realities of people's lives in sub-Saharan Africa. And a lack of understanding and awareness of disability at community level is a key factor in the stigmatization of people with disabilities. The various explanations for disability and their consequences can have a profound impact on the lives of disabled people, but they're often overlooked by those who are trying to enhance their inclusion. And so this project hopes to contribute to providing a more nuanced understanding of disability, understanding the importance and awareness of these different experiences and understandings of disability across African contexts, and doing so by working with communities and with African expertise. The project's also aiming to contribute to the ways in which NGOs and disability groups and academics can work together across all sorts of boundaries, across geographical divides, across the divides between different groups working on different disabilities, or across professional and disciplinary boundaries. We noticed that to a large extent, and for often very good reasons, disability groups, academics and NGOs often work with a focus on a single disability. For 15 years or so, I've focused on albinism in Africa. That's my particular area of expertise. And I've done a lot of work in this area and published widely. But this project was in part stimulated by my realization that what I'd considered for so long to be specific to the experience of people with epilepsy actually is often shared across disabilities. And these experiences are common to many, many more people than we might think. So another important aim of this project is to establish a formal network to allow for the sharing of practice and learning across disabilities and across contexts. So I'm going to draw to a close now, but I just wanted to flag up a few of our forthcoming events. So at the moment, like everyone else, we're working largely online, but then we will have a series of workshops. We have one in Nigeria and one in Tanzania next year. And then in the following year, we'll have one in Cameroon and one in South Africa. And if you'd like to find out more about the project, then we have a website, we're on Facebook and Twitter, and you're very welcome to email me as well. I'd very much like you to get involved and for us to continue to work together. So thank you very much for your time.